Let's go. Happy New Moon Day, everybody. I've been in the trenches on New Moon Day translating. We're getting closer and closer. Yahuwah doing a mighty work through the TSNT.org movement campaign. Represent. What's going on, everybody? Rose over there in Great Britain. I see you. What's happening, everybody? Coming on. Happy New Moon Day. Happy New Moon Day. Drop your name. Drop your city and country, or your name and your city and state if you're in the USA. Let Yahuwah know that you love him. I got to do, matter of fact, I didn't even update my title yet. It's still on yesterday's title. Sorry about that, y'all. I guess y'all want to finish it, right? Let's put part 2 on here. Let's do that. Part 2. I wasn't even going to do it. Yahuwah must want me to do it. All right, we're going to do part 2. I was going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it now. Y'all want me to do part 2 of YAHUAH 15? We just got one verse in yesterday. Everybody went nuts. Huh? Man, I guess we got to go in. Y'all want to hit part 2? Y'all want to hit part 2? Let's see. If we're going, I'm going to look at the chat. Lisa said yes. Y'all want to do part 2 of YAHUAH 15? Is that what y'all want? Let me make sure it updates. Man, oh man. Yeah, part 2. Yahuwah wants part 2 done because, man, I don't ever forget that title. This is going to be all about New Moon. So I guess he wants me to do New Moon on another day. And we're going to celebrate New Moon Day today with YAHUAH chapter 15, part 2, because we couldn't get past just one verse yesterday. And it was the most blockbuster verse in all of scriptural translation to date. YAHUAH, John 15:1 is the most blockbuster scripture in translation out of everything that's got translated out there so far from the originals, because the originals know what they say. Originals know what they say. Originals are not confused about themselves. That's why when I read it, I'm never confused. Wow. Unbelievable. All right, I'm going to give you a quick snapshot of New Moon. See, New Moon is critical because New Moon, without it, you can't tell time. If you don't understand the New Moon, you will never keep the Shabbat right. That means you're going to continually violate the 4th commandment over and over. And if you break one commandment, you break them all. So, not observing the Shabbat on the right day is no different than committing murder, believe it or not, in the eyes of Yahuwah. It's no different than stealing in the eyes of Yahuwah. This is crazy. Now, I've already done a training on the New Moon before, specifically on it. And if you go into our YouTube channel, you type in New Moon in the search box, you're going to be able to see the training where I broke it down. What's going on, Amanda? Water, Kentucky. Amanda, you know I'm from Winchester, Kentucky. I was born in Winchester, Clark County. Yeah. Yep. Marquis says everybody got to hit the like button. Daniel Bacote coming in with some kingdom business in the building. Come on. We're going to get it going. So go over to the YouTube channel. You'll be able to type in. I'll give you a little taste. But Yahuwah, it's obvious he wants us to finish up YAHUAH John chapter 15. Because we just ripped it out last night. And people still ain't got over it. And they're not going to get over it. Thank you, Sister Queen in the building. Queen might just went platinum. Or she's already past platinum. I know Queen recently went platinum. Or she's right at it. Her and Brother Larry in the building. Yeah. All right, so listen, New Moon, simple. Just like a Shabbat, just like a 7-day Sabbath, except you can cook. There's another thing you can do. You can go out and about, because on the Shabbat, you should never, ever travel. You must never travel on the Shabbat. You stay within your borders, within your gates. On the new moon, you can go out and about. You just can't do any business. So you got to be careful if you go out of your gates on a new moon and you get out and you get stuck and all of a sudden you go call the ox in the ditch. Yahuwah ain't going to hear it. So you got to be very calculated to leave your gates on the new moon, because you'll mess around and you'll break it. Now, how do we know that the new moon is still in full effect and will never go away? How do we know? Let's look at some stuff here, right? We're going to look at something. We're going to look at something. All right, now watch this. I'm going to go to Talim, sign name. Talim, sign name Psalms. The real name is Talim. Chapter 89. I got a lot going on. I've been translating. We're getting close. I'm going to go to verse 37. Talim chapter 89, verse 37. Then we're going to go bust out YAHUAH 15. Here we go. Talim, Psalms 89, 37. Like the moon, it is established forever, and the witness in the heaven is steadfast. So it says that the moon is a witness. What is the moon a witness of? Huh? Yeah, Joe, you can do laundry. You can do your household stuff. I got to tell y'all that. Yeah, you can work. You can cook. You can do stuff around the house. Yeah, on a new moon. Just no transaction, no making money or buying anything from anybody. That's a good question. Yeah. Just don't break your back on doing it. Now look, Talim chapter 89, verse 37 says, like the moon, it is established forever, and the witness in the heaven is steadfast. So this is established forever as a what? As a witness. A witness to what? It's a witness to the appointed times of Yahuwah. It tells us how to keep the time. Without the moon, you cannot whatsoever keep time. You can't keep time based on the sun alone. Now, you need the sun to tell you when the new year is going to happen. The sun, as far as timekeeping, is built for the year. The moon is built to tell you when the month starts. That's why today we don't have to guess. This is the third new moon of the real year. This new moon today tells us that we have now started a new month, and 7 days from now, we will conduct the Shabbat. Now, what's unique on the calendar of Yahuwah, that's why I know this is 1,000,000,000% on point, is that when you keep it this way, then on the real calendar, right now your brain gonna go grab the Gregorian. I'm telling you right now, before I say it. Thank you, Yeshak. I think that's Isaac. Your brain gonna jump over to the calendar and go start thinking of the numbers on the calendar. Can't do it. There's an eternal calendar that's there that always is paying attention to the new moon to tell you when you got a new month. See, the word month comes out of the word moon, a month. Y'all follow me? A month. A month is in the moon. So the month is inside of the moon. All right. I'm going to take it up another notch. The month is inside of the moon. The moon, once it sets its spot, tells you new moon. Then on 7 days from now, so new moon day is its own day. And anytime you look in the scriptures, you will notice that the Shabbat always falls on the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, or the 29th of the real month. Never any other day. I think that's a coincidence. Can that even be possible to be a coincidence that every time the 8th day of the new moon is mentioned, the 15th day of the new moon is mentioned, the 22nd day of the new moon is mentioned, the 29th day of the new moon is mentioned, every time it says that it's a Shabbat. It's the Sabbath every time. How congruent is that? It always is going to fall on the real calendar. I'm not talking about the pagan Gregorian calendar. Your brain will get jacked up. It's going to fall on the 8th day of the new moon, the 15th day of the new moon, the 22nd day of the new moon, and the 29th day. And you go study in scripture and you see any time it's mentioned on the 8th day of the new moon, the 15th day of the new moon, the 22nd day of the new moon, the 29th day of the new moon. Anytime it's bam mentioned, it's a Shabbat, it's a Sabbath. Come on. Come on. Now look, my wife is putting in the chat on Facebook and YouTube how to go look at the calendar. That's the real deal. You'll never have to guess. We do the work for you. We already tell you. All you gotta do is look at the calendar. We put the Gregorian calendar up to tell you which day is the new moon, which day is the Sabbath, the Shabbat, which day is the appointed time, the 7th feast. So you have zero clue. You have zero guessing about what you need to do. You don't need any more clues. You got it. There you go. Bam. All right. No, the new moon is not always going to be immediately after the fourth Shabbat. Sometimes it'll be 2 days. For example, the last Shabbat was 2 days ago. Was on Pagan Day Tuesday. The darkest moon didn't hit till yesterday. Right? Once that moon's completely black, showing zero light, you know the next morning when it just cracks any bit of daylight, new month. Ain't got to guess. So there's always 29 or 30 days in the course of a month. So in the course of a month, during the cycle of the moon, it will always cycle at either 29 or 30 days. It will never, ever cycle, ever at 28 days, and never cycle at 31 days. Never. It's only going to cycle on 29 or 30 days every month. And we know exactly when it's going to happen. And we just put it on the calendar for you. So if you go over to our site, I'm going to put it in too. And then I'm getting ready to say a few verses. And then I'm going to move on to the big subject today. Okay? So I'm going to put it in there. If you go to promothetruth.com/YAHUAH-calendar, that's where you're going to get it. Bye-bye. All right. I'm going to put real calendar of YAHUAH. We know it. He's blessed it. We know that calendar's on point. He's now given us the signs. So the third real month of the year starts today. So now we know that this new moon is a big deal. Why? Because if we go to, wait a minute, y'all gonna get me going already. I see it. Y'all can tell I'm warming up. Yeah, let me go over here. Bereshit. Let me get the Bereshit in the real scriptures, the true scriptures. And can y'all believe we almost done with the New Testament? We started on this journey and we started the campaign on the 9th of November. And can y'all believe we within a week or two from being done, like completely done, not just translated, but being edited and everything. I don't think we're no further than the end of this month from this sucker going into publication and going out to the world. All right. Bereshit 1:14 through 18. And Yahuwah said, let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to divide the day from the night. And let these lights be for signs. That's the number one thing the lights are for. They're for signs. Which lights? Sun and the moon. And for appointed times, the second reason they're created, these are in order of importance. There'll be a sign, and then next is to be for appointed times. Yahuwah has told us his appointed times. Then it comes to days and years. So now you deal with the exact calendar. But he's telling you that this is important because it's going to be a sign between me and my people, as he says over in Shabbat. All right? So I'm going to prove that these are a sign after I read this. Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to divide the day from the night. They also divide the day and the night. So the night is not the day. I'm going to put this over here where I can see what's going on at the same time. Wait a minute. Y'all, I'm going to put this somewhere. I got a couple screens here. I got to put this over here where I can make sure I'm on point because I got to kind of see. I got to feel the energy of what's happening over here. Y'all got to bear with me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this over here. Yeah. Get over there. Here we go. Going. Get over there. In the name of Yahuwah, get over there. All right. There it is. Told you it would happen. Now, I'm back over here. The new moon is always 29 or 30 days. Never, ever will it be 28 days. Not ever, not one time. All right. So watch this. The first thing that it's for is for a sign. And more importantly than anything, it's going to tell you when the day is and when the night is. And you never have to worry about observing anything at night unless Yahuwah tells you to. He's always going to be clear. If he wants you to observe one of his appointed times during the night, he's only going to tell you to do it 2 times. In the course of an entire year, he'll have us do something as far as an observance during the night. He'll have it on the Pesach, the Passover, and then he has it on the Day of Atonement. Okay? Yom Kippur. He'll have it then. Those 2 times, so that's it. Now, hey, I like you put that. The new moon, I like that my sis put that in there. Is that Christine? Christine, is that you, CR? The new moon is mentioned about 450 plus times in the scriptures. I was going to bring that up. My sis beat us to the punch. Did you just figure that out, Christine? Did y'all know that? That the new moon is mentioned over 450 times in the scriptures. Thank you, Juanita. I see you. 450 times. Did y'all know that? 450 times the new moon. You think the new moon's not important and it's mentioned 450 times? No, 450 plus, depending on your translation. I'm going to tell you it's at least 459 times, depending on the translation. Once I do all the true scriptures, we'll have that exact number, but it's going to be over 450. This is crazy. All right, I'm going to read this. Verse 15 of Genesis, Bereshit. And let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Yahuwah made two great lights. The greater light was called the sun to rule the day. And the lesser light was called the moon to rule the night, and the stars. So the moon, it rules the night and the stars. The sun rules the day. And Yahuwah set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth and to rule over the day and over the night. He's being emphatic about this day-night thing. Y'all see it? He's being very emphatic. That's why you catch anybody starting a day in the evening. When they do the evening stuff, you know that's pagan origins. Yahuwah's not calling a day night. That's darkness. So who in the world with common sense would go, I'm going to start a day at night? Like for real, for real. Now, I'm not throwing no shade at anybody because I got caught up in that nonsense. I did that for years. I was doing that nonsense for years. I was blind. Then I called on YAHUAH and the scales came off and now I see. All right. So we got to get that straight. You talking to a wall. If you trying to go talk to people who got that in their brain that a day starts at night, that means they've been blinded because it doesn't even make any sense. How you gonna say a day starts at night? Well, what do young people say? Make it make sense. All right. Now I'm gonna read verse 17 of Genesis, Bereshit, again, chapter 1. And Yahuwah set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Yahuwah saw that it was good. What he do? What they got to do? They divide. What does divide mean? Two different things in this case. You can't say, when he says it's divided, you can't come back and go, I don't care what you said, YAHUAH. I don't care if you said it's to divide it. I don't care. Who in the world would think like that? A disobedient one. We know who their father is. When would Satan want you? He would love it always to be what? Dark. He's the prince of what? Darkness. So he would love for you to believe your day is at night. So you can go where he going. In the outermost darkness is where he going. Now, this is what's amazing to me. What I'm going to read to you next is what's always like off the charts to me. Watch this. This one right here. It's always like, what? I'm going to go over to Shamut. That's Exodus. Okay? I'm going to ease over there. I'm in the true scriptures, by the way. I've already translated Bereshit and Exodus, Shamut. Those are done. I'm going to have to tweak them just a little bit because I done got very tight with my Hebrew, my Abari. I'm all the way up there now with that. Way up. Boy, it'd be hard to fool me now on Hebrew and Abari after this project. It's going to be tough. You can't fool me with no Masoretic vowel pointing stuff. Ain't gonna happen. Okay? I don't care if you come in here and you got 15 people lined up that you call them rabbis. And they go over and they start talking with their V's and their E's and all that and their O's and stuff. I'm going to sit right down there and I'm going to pull out these ancient scrolls and I'm going to go, no, look here. What y'all want to say about this? Stop talking. Put some money up. People ain't going to put no money up. They know it's a delusion. So I'm tearing it down in the name of Yahuwah. Now this is what's unique. Shemot 31, verse 12, tells you about the first reason for the new moon. Okay? Now watch. Because he said that these lights are for what? Signs. So when I go look at Shemot 31:12, he says, then Yahuwah spoke to Masha, saying, verse 13, speak to the children of Israel, saying, my Shabbats. You notice he says Shabbats, not the Shabbat. He said, my Shabbats. That's all the appointed times he's talking about. He's talking about the weekly Sabbath, Shabbat. When you hear my Shabbats, I'm going to explain it to you very clear. There's three of them. You got the weekly Shabbat. You got the 7 appointed times, the 7 feasts, and you got the new moon. Did you know that? The new moon is a Shabbat. And it's a sign. So he says, my Shabbats you are to guard by all means. Now, what do you think that means? See, they mistranslate, put the word keep in there. You ain't just keeping this. You a soldier on this one. You got to guard it. Like you got your gun, your sword, your bazookas. You sitting there, hey, I'm guarding this thing. He says you are to guard it by all means. What does that mean? By all means. He means you got to take this very serious. I'm gonna prove it. You got to guard it by all means because it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations to know that I, Yahuwah, am setting you apart. Told you. Now go back. Let's read it again in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to divide the day from the night. First thing. Then let them be for signs. Now we go down to Exodus, Shemot 31:13, and it says, my Shabbat you are to guard by all means, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, to know that I, Yahuwah, am setting you apart. Y'all get it? So right there, Genesis 1:14, Bereshit 1:14 is directly connected to Exodus Shemot 31:13. They are attached. You can't separate them. They are attached. Verse 14, and you shall guard the Shabbat. Now he goes down. He says, now I'm gonna do a hone in real quick. He said, my Shabbat, you guard. He wanted to make sure that you knew, and I knew he wasn't just talking about the weekly Shabbat. That's why he started this out. He says, my new moon, my weekly Shabbat, and my 7 feasts, you are to guard by all means. Then he says, and you shall guard the Shabbat, weekly Shabbat, because it is set apart to you. Everyone that violates the Shabbat shall surely be put to death. That means you're going in the lake of fire if you violate the weekly Shabbat or any of them. But he's honing in on this one. Whoever does any work on it, that person shall be cut off from among their people. 6 days work is done, but the 7th day is the Shabbat of complete rest, set apart to Yahuwah. Whoever does any work on the Shabbat day shall certainly be put to death. And the children of Israel shall guard the Shabbat, to observe the Shabbat throughout their generations, an everlasting law and covenant. It's an everlasting. Are we still in everlasting, by the way? Is today part of everlasting, family? Wow. Is today part of everlasting? Like, have you figured out how to escape everlasting while still be living? While still living? I'm still in everlasting. Do you think that you can set yourself as Yahuwah outside of time and get out of everlasting? Queen, hey, Sister Queen, I'm going to put what she put up on the screen. I'll put it on the screen, Sister Queen. Sister Queen said, thank you, Brother Jay and Lena, for your obedience to teaching us these true scriptures and about the Shabbat and the feast days. Because without it, we all would be lost. You better believe it. Whole bunch of people be lost, gone. Because somebody got to stop and be a watchman and a watchwoman and go, look, Yahuwah's words are true, not the pagan stuff. No, wait a minute. He says an everlasting covenant. Verse 17. Y'all tell me if y'all got the code here. He's now going to code verse 17 of Exodus. Shemot 31:13 and 31:17 are coded and attached to Bereshit. That's Genesis 1:14. They are attached. Verse 17. It is a sign between me and the children of Yisrael forever. How are we going to get out of this? Now, Yahuwah made this thing go outside of time. Now he done made it an eternal thing. How long are we going to keep the Shabbat? He said forever. How long are we going to keep the new moon day? Forever. How long are we going to keep the festivals? Forever. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth. And on the seventh day, he rested and was refreshed. Verse 18. Now, how important is this? Because in verse 18, watch what happens next. And when he had completed speaking to Moshe on Mount Sinai, he gave Moshe the 2 stone tablets of the covenant witness written with the finger of Aluah. So right before Yahuwah takes his finger, and when he wrote the 10 commandments with his own finger, right before he did that, he said, now wait a minute. I want you to go tell my people, if they are my people, this is how you can make sure you're my people. My Shabbats, you are to guard by all means, or you're not my people. You're out of here. Then he takes the time, and then he repeats himself and goes, wait. Now look, it's like Yahuwah going, now I want to make sure you're not going to have no excuse on this one. You come up to me after I done talked and then went back and circled back on what I said and then confirmed what I said again. All right, now you want to go on and think the new moon ain't a big deal. You about to go in the lake, and it ain't no cold lake. It's got fire. That's a fact. Otherwise, the scriptures lie. So let Yahuwah be true and everybody else be a liar that ain't agreeing with him. Hey, all I got to say is I'm reading the scriptures. New moon's a big deal. How we know? How we know? Let's go to Yeshua. Let's go to Yeshua Yahu. Let's say what he said. Let's go see what he got to say. Yeshayahu. The most quoted prophet of all time is Isaiah. Yeshayahu. He says, when he's closing out his book, guess what he says? The last two things, he made this ain't no joke about the new moon. Yeshayahu's, no, I'm going to back it up. The last three verses, 22, 23, 24. 66, Isaiah 22, 23, 24. Woo! Get ready. For as the new heavens and the new earth that I make stand before me. What's he talking about? He talking about the new heaven and the new earth. How many of y'all want to be part of the new heaven and the new earth? Put it in the chat. Put it if you want to be part of the new heavens and the new earth. And y'all stop asking me. I keep seeing stuff in the chat. Well, what about this person? What about the people doing this? You can't get out of keeping and obeying Yahuwah. You can't. It don't matter what you do. If you got a job that makes you break the Sabbath, get a new job. The people that got jobs or businesses that makes them break the Sabbath, they are not the children of Yisrael. They're not Yahuwah's people. There ain't no sense, and you would keep asking me the same thing, because I'm going to tell you Yahuwah's word, and I ain't going to the left or to the right. You ain't going to blame me. Well, Jay said we can do it if we had this situation. No, I didn't. You want to be part of the new heaven and new earth? You're going to guard these commandments. You're going to guard what he says. Period. It's up to you. You can come up with excuses if you want, but you're not going in. Watch. He says, as for the new heavens and the new earth that I make stand before me, declares who? Yahuwah. So your seed and your name shall stand. Do you want your seed and your name to stand? Yes. Verse 23. So it shall be that from one new moon to the next new moon, from one Sabbath, Shabbat, to the next Shabbat, all flesh, all people shall come to worship before me, declares Yahuwah. He said, declares. And guess what? These people that are Yahuwah's people, and they shall go out and look upon the corpses of the people who have transgressed against me. See? You don't keep the new moon, the Shabbat, and the festivals. You have transgressed against Yahuwah. Because he said we're going to do this thing from one new moon to the next new moon. You going to let some Christian pastor trick you on this one? He said, because how we know this is post the Savior? Because he said in the new heavens and the new earth. That tells you can't go grab somebody and go, no. And you sure can't go run to Shaul, Paul, because the true scripture is going to blow you out the water with Shaul. Shaul, for a fact, going to high five us when we see him in heaven. Shaul going to high five us, going to go, man, they was down there lying on me, trying to make me look bad. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for clearing that up. Man, I'm glad somebody did it before y'all got up here. I'm telling you. Shaul going to be like, boy, they was talking trash down there about me. Had everybody thinking you could just go against Yahoo. Shaul said, I ain't say that. You know, every time. If he could hear it. He's sleeping now, but if he could hear it, he'd be like, man, come on. When he wake up and they show Shaul, I'm going to call him over myself. I'm going to say, Shaul, Paul, come here. Look at what they had all of us running after for centuries, man. This is what they did with your word. Shaul going to put his hands on his hips. Go, what? Shaul going to be like, hey, not me. But guess what? We clear that up with the true scriptures, brother. He said, go on. He gonna high five us. You know, that's what I'm talking about. That's my people right there. Let's go. Woo! I'm going in. Are we clear on this? Yeah. All right, we clear on this? The new moon is no joke. It's going to go on forever. It's a sign because it's part of the Shabbats. We clear. Now, I got that handled. Happy New Moon Day, by the way. Happy New Moon Day. How often do I celebrate them? Every single new moon. You'll catch me and my family. We own it. Look what Brother Daniel Libby said. The true scriptures is the most important work to be done and preached to the four corners of the earth, and then the end will come, and Yahuwah will burn it up. I bear witness. I agree. Yes, New Moon Day is today. Alicia, you are on it. Come on, Daniel. We guarding the Shabbats. We guarding these babies. Yes, we are. Thank you, Brother William. Happy New Moon Day. Now, y'all ready to go tear it up again? Yahuhanan chapter 15. What was that last night or yesterday, wherever you was at? Man, oh man. Can we take it? Can we take it? Let's go in. Put some fire emojis in the chat before we go in. Put some fire emojis in the chat. New Moon Day, you chill. Just like a Shabbat, except you can cook, you can clean. No business, no transactions. Don't make any money. Don't buy anything. Celebration. You look back. Now, something good to do on a new moon is you look back at the previous month and then you thank Yahuwah. You got to get this gratitude down. You thank Him for all the blessings and all the lessons you learned. You see where you could have done better, and then you get better this new moon. But you got to look back with gratitude. Thank you, Yahuwah. I see where you had me do this. I saw you when you brought me here. Yes, Father. He loves this. That's the closest way you can get to Yahuwah is gratitude. Yeah. Yeah, my dad got some good thoughts on New Moon Day. We got a story that will be forever. We're going to talk about that in the New Heavens and New Earth. It's just awesome to be disciplined. YAHUAH 15. Can y'all believe that the first words in YAHUAH 15 are what they are? For those of you that was here last, I'm going to put it in the chat again for those of you who weren't here, and put your seatbelts on like now. Because this is going to get crazy, like off the gate. It was so nuts, I couldn't get past one verse yesterday. That's how off the charts this was. So I'm going to go put on this New Moon Day. What a great way to start it out. And we went and got every single John chapter 15 that we could find. And I'm sure some people went and they was looking all over the place. Did anybody find a clear translation that would compare to what the true scriptures shows? I mean, come on, y'all. All I did is I took, because it was written in Aramaic. That's what Yahuwah wrote this in. And when he wrote chapter 15, I'm going to show you exactly how he wrote it. All right? When he wrote chapter 15, Yahuwah. So Yahuwah, thank you, Brother Adam. That's John 15:1 in Aramaic. Aramite is Aramaic. Y'all gonna learn today. Watch this. Look in the chat. That's how it's written. So see, this is how we can stop all this yipping and yapping and people upset and why this and why that. All the people talking that trash and wanting to get upset and trying to protect their buildings and their organized religion. No. It's over. We're announcing we're tearing it down. Then we're going to build it back up on top of what we tore down. Now, you see that translation? Look, Aramaic and Hebrew reads from right to left. So you got to look at the first two words in Aramaic. They're the exact first two words. And those two words are in Aramaic are ana, ana. Those two words are ana, ana. A-N-A. Ana. You know what A-N-A means in Aramaic? It means I am. Capital I, capital A-M. When you put ana next to each other, then you just put the word that in between them. I am that I am. Can you believe that this scripture, and y'all been looking at it like me, for what? Forever. People just looking at this thing forever. Dad, wait till you hear this. I think my dad was asleep because we did it late last night. Look, I'm now going to put what that means in Aramaic. But before, hold on. And just so we don't get anybody out there knows anything about Hebrew, I'm going to put it in Hebrew first. Yeah. I'm going to put it in Hebrew first. John 15:1 in Abari. See, we can stop all the noise. Everybody got to be quiet before Yahuwah offer this translation. You can't come in here talking trash on this translation. In Abari, Hebrew. Y'all ready? Now, I'm going to put it in there. Yes, I am. I know, Satan, you don't want me to put it in there. Ain't no way in the world. Satan go, man, how did I not get this guy killed a long time ago? I know he's thinking that. I know for a fact, Satan go, man, how'd I miss all them times? Yahuwah said, you can't touch me without his permission. That's how you missed. Now I just put it in Hebrew. Look at the first two letters. First two words, right to left. That's ana. Y'all understand? No H, Tirza. There's no H at the end. It's A-N-A. I'm telling y'all, you got to pay attention. I'll teach you the real Hebrew. There's no H there. If there was an H there, you would see a hey. It's not a hey. It's an aleph. Aleph, nun, aleph. That word in Hebrew, there's some words they say them the exact same in Aramaic and Hebrew. It's just like Great Britain, England English, and the USA English. There's several words, we'll say them the same, right? But then there's other words, it'll be said different from their English to our English. But in Hebrew, anytime you see the words ana, you know all we got to do is we got to go back to Shamut, okay? Chapter 3. That's Exodus chapter 3. I think it's 15. No, 14, I think. Let me make sure. Exodus 3:14, I'm feeling. Yeah. Once we go back to Shamut, Exodus 3:14, this is the exact words that Yahuwah said to Moshe when he was standing there at the burning bush. And then Moshe was like, look, let's read it. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, hold on, I'm going to go to 13. Shamut, chapter 3, Exodus 3:13. And Moshe said to Yahuwah, look, when I go to the children of Yisrael and say to them, the Yahuwah of your fathers has sent me to you. And then they say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Ayah, Asher, Ayah. Oh, great job, Blake. Y'all got to know how big this is. That's why I slowed down. I couldn't get past verse 1. Will we get past verse 1 today? We can't rush this one. You see? We can't rush this. We got to slow it down. And we got to look and see what is Yahusha saying here. All the way in YAHUAH, John chapter 15, verse 1. What exactly did he mean when he said the same thing that was said in Shamut chapter 3, verse 14? When Moshe has to go talk to the children of Yisrael after 400 years of being enslaved, 430 years. He now got to, he got to, look, Moshe's going to go tell them, they say, what is your name? Before Yahuwah said his name, y'all listen, we're going to understand this on New Moon Day today. Before Yahusha said his name, he established what he is. He going to tell you his name in verse 15. In verse 14 of Exodus 3, he going to tell you who he is. What's his capacity? He going to verify and make sure you really understand. I want you to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this burning bush you see here, this spirit over here, this fire that you see that ain't burning this bush, which is what brought you over in the first place, wondering how can a bush be on fire and not burned up? You want to know why? Because of who I actually am. So I got to establish, so when you go to the children, they've been around all these other pagan Elohim, sign-in gods, statues all over the place, people worshiping this and worshiping that. I want you to let them know. Ayah, Asher, Ayah. He said, that means I am that I am. The living Aluah. It's lights out. It's lights out. He said, Ayah, Asher, Ayah. That precisely means I am that I am, the living Aluah. Most people don't finish out what that means. They just leave it with I am that I am. You got to finish that out. The, not one of, the only living Aluah. That's what he said at the burning bush. Tamasha. So I want y'all to help indulge me here. What in the world is Yahusha on earth, the Son, sitting there as a man, a human being like you and I? What in the world? What in the world is he doing saying Ayah Asha Ayah in Aramaic? Ana Ana. What is he doing saying that? That's why we got to slow this down. You can't just breeze over that. What? You cannot just, you can't just translate that I am the vine. They translated, I want y'all to understand what these translators did. They took, and that's why I put it in there in Hebrew, and I put it in there in Aramaic, and you can go check all the sources you want. And the only time you ain't gonna see ana ana or aya asha aya or its equivalent, thank you, Brother Daniel, is in the Greek and the Latin and the English and the French and the Spanish. That's the only time. All the languages around the world, name them. How many is it? They just gonna say with aya asha aya, ana, they gonna call I am the vine. Thank you, Sister Queen. You gonna belittle? You're gonna take it all the way down to just I am the vine. Instead of Aya Asha Aya. Now I'm gonna put the real translation in. And y'all tell me if it bears witness to you, because I gave you the translation. And if you learn the basics of Aramaic and Hebrew, you're gonna go, that's exactly what Jay put in there. That's exactly what that says. That's exactly what it means. It says it and it means it. Let me write down here again. Then we'll progress. Once we got to fill this one up, though. Yeah, we got to fill this one up. YAHUAH 15, 1 from the truth scriptures. Only one. Y'all ready? Look at that. Read that. I don't know if it cut off or not. It might have cut off on part of it. If it did, I'm about to give it. If it cut off on YouTube, hold on. I think it cut off on YouTube, so I'm going to give you the second part. I'm going to give you part 2. There it is. Look at that. Look at this. Can y'all believe they jacked that up? Look at that. That's like, can y'all believe how they butchered that? The real scripture says, I don't know any other verse in scripture that starts out with Aya, Asha, Aya, meaning I am that I am, the living Aluah, the true vine. And my Father is the gardener. My goodness, y'all. We're talking about This is a gross injustice of people that did translation that they're looking, I'm telling you, they are looking at that second anah. They're looking at that second ayah. They're looking at it. They're looking right at it. Their eyeballs, because what are you doing translating if you ain't looking at it? Devin said, this is so hot, my battery power disappeared. Like, what are you doing translating if you ain't going to look and put the words down? You can't blow off an ayah. You can't blow off an anah when especially when they're side by side. You can't do it. Because what happened, y'all want to know what just happened here? Christine, she said, this is a great presentation on New Moon Day. That's right, I feel it. Watch. You know what just happened? What did Yahusha have the nerve to just say? Are y'all telling me that when Yahusha said in John 15:1, Ayah Asha Ayah, meaning I am the living Aluah, the true vine. Y'all mean to tell me he's saying I'm the same exact one that said these same exact words to Masha way back yonder? Can you believe that he is saying in that verse that he's the same one on that Mount Sinai, in that burning bush? He the same exact one. This human being literally said, Ayah, Asha, Ayah. What are y'all going to do with that? Who's going to get around that? Who's going to come and tell anybody now that's listening to me that understands this, that Yahusha is not Yahuwah? He just gave witness of himself like never before. He said it multiple times, and he's flowing it in. But man, you gonna start a verse out like this? You're gonna start the whole chapter out, Ayah, Asha Ayah. I am that I am, the living Aluah, the true vine. You're gonna start it out knowing it's gonna get taught throughout generations. Hey, isn't that blasphemy? Isn't that considered blasphemy? Now, you know for a fact. That's why they killed him for real. Because he said, Ayah, Asha Ayah. I am the living Aluah. Yes, you looking at a man here. But don't you think for a second, I can't cause this entire earth to split in half while I'm talking to you. All power that's holding your next breath is sitting here behind the eyeballs you looking at. I'm just letting you breathe. Yeah. Whoa! That's something else. Yahusha just letting them breathe. Letting it play out. Man. All right, now, Yahuwah just gave me permission to move forward. I couldn't go nowhere until then. Ayah Asha Ayah, meaning I am that I am, the living Aluah, the true vine, and my father is the gardener. People say, he just said it, my father's the gardener, though. What we just tell y'all last night, or the first session, go watch the first session. Yahuwah can be whoever he wants to be. And it's obvious that he was and is whoever he wants to be. And Yahuwah can be the Father and be the Son. He can be whatever he wants to be. He can be the ocean. He can be the mountain. As a matter of fact, is everything. He is in all, and through him, all things exist. Your air you're breathing now is YAHUAH. How you going to tell me he ain't everywhere? When you got breath in your, that breath is, that's YAHUAH. That's why he said, I am that. Name it. Name it. I am that I am. I am that. I am. Are you the Son? I am that. Are you the Father? I am that. Are you the set apart Spirit? I am that. Are you the birds in the air? I am that. Nothing that has been made without him. Everything that's been made is through him and by him. I am that. I'm all of that. And all other things that will be, that I want to be. That's me. Man, got to get who he is. Verse 2, we finally got to verse 2. Let's go. He removes every branch in me that does not produce fruit. You see what he's saying there? He's saying the part of me that operates as the Father, if you don't produce fruit, I'm going to remove you. And he prunes any branch in me that does produce fruit so that it will produce even more fruit. You are already clean because of the word that I have spoken to you. You see how powerful this is? I am that. What? Just by accepting his word makes me clean. I am that. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. A branch cannot produce fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Likewise, you cannot produce fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine. You are the branches. The Nazarene. The Nazarene. That's where you get Nazarene from. That means branches. Y'all know that? Y'all know that? Nazarene. I am the vine. You are the Nazarene, the branches. Whoever remains in me and I in them, they shall produce much fruit. Without me, you can do nothing. That's why he said he's your breath. Without me, you cannot do anything. If you do not remain in me, you will be like a branch that is thrown out and dries up. Those branches are gathered up and then thrown into the fire and burned. Told you, you're going to burn. They're going to burn you up. If you don't get right, that ain't a threat. That's a fact. If you believe the scriptures, I believe them. If you remain in me and my word remains in you, then whatever you want will be done for you. I am that. Ooh. Can you believe what you're hearing? All we got to do is remain in him and have his word remain in us. Then whatever we want will be done for you. Y'all got to stop playing so low. Just look around your life. And almost everybody listening to me is playing very, very, very low. You ain't playing like this verse. You ain't living like this verse. You ain't producing much fruit. You want to know why? He's not in you. That's why you got to be immersed into his name. Into his name. Then he will come in you Now you got to just hold his word. That's what makes him remain in you. You got to believe him. You got to believe him. Do you believe him when he says, whatever you want will be done for you? How many of y'all believe Yahuwah Mashiach when he says, whatever you want will be done for you? Y'all believe in that? Immersed, not baptized. It's a pagan name, John. The real word is immersed. Get in the water somewhere. That's to be obedient to what he did. That ain't what's going to save you. But go get in there. But the immersion that you need is the immersion of fire, of the set apart spirit. That's when you call on him with all you got. And you ain't looking back. And you ain't going to play low no more. You playing low, you ain't got immersed yet. And that's a fact. It's a fact. If you ain't walking in the power of Yahuwah, if you're not seeing miracles happen in your life, you ain't immersed yet. He's not in you. And if you're not careful, you're going to be what? Broken off and thrown out to wither up. So you're going to have to take heed to his word, and there's no more playing low when you hear a message like this. Once you hear the real word being preached, all your lowness, your silly excuses, and the ones I used to have are burned up. And now we go into the whatever we want mode. Are you in with this? When you produce much fruit, that's when my Father is esteemed. You see, you not producing fruit is not bringing no praise to the Father. That church got you thinking, them Christians got you thinking and feeling guilty about producing fruit. The hell with that. Watch. Verse 8, 15:8, John, YAHUAH 15:8. When you produce much fruit, my Father is esteemed. This proves that you are my disciples. He wants you to prove it. He wants me to prove that we're his disciples. How? Produce some fruit. What kind of fruit? We got to get busy spreading his name. We got to get busy believing in his full capacity. We got to go ahead and get all things. We got to have a better life. We got to eat better food. We got to live in better houses. We got to drive better cars. We got to get more land. We got to help more orphans. We got to help more battered women and children. We got to help clean up the earth better. We got to get busy producing fruit. Told y'all this word is, we needed part 2 for this. When you produce much fruit, my Father is esteemed. That's a very emphatic verse. This proves that you are my disciples. 9. As the Father has loved me, I have loved you. So remain in my love. Come on. Woo! You got to remain. How do you remain? Produce fruit. Now watch. He's going to get very specific. Verse 10. If you keep my commandments, you shall remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have said these things so that my joy will be in you and your joy will be complete. See, we get complete by guarding and keeping these commandments. That's why New Moon Day is so critical. It's part of this. It's part of the obedience that will get us to where we can produce some fruit. 12. This is my commandment. Love each other just as I have loved you. Do we love each other? like this kind of love, I know I love you all like this. I know it. I know I love you like this. I know it. I prove it every day. You ain't got to be watching me. You don't need no magnifying glass. Anybody got any kind of thought about being around me going, that man working for the kingdom. He producing fruit. How do we know? You're part of this fruit from me working, from me staying and remaining in Yahuwah Mashiach. You're part of the fruit. And there's no greater love that a person can have than if they lay down their lives for a friend. You are my friends if you do what I command you to do. See, we got to be ready to lay down our life for each other like this. We can't let nothing come between us. We got to agree on everything. We got to look for a way to be in agreement with our brothers and sisters. We got to look for it. That's rare. That makes us a peculiar people. That makes us set apart. That makes us part of the remnant. That's why we build a 144, because nobody on earth will have ever loved the way we love. And we ain't saying that to compete. We're saying that to be obedient. We're going to be the most obedient, happy, productive people the world's ever seen. Come on, Brother Daniel. I see you. That's going to be us. That's my faith. What's your faith? Put a 144 in the chat if you were one of the 144 people on earth that's going to build the foundation to get to the 144,000. Put a 144 in the chat. If that's you, if you got that kind of faith, you say, man, I'm in full agreement. Nothing can come. I can't get no gossip. I can't have no articles. I can't have my mama saying nothing. My kids, my uncles, my grandma. Nothing comes between our love. Nothing. You can't separate me from you. When you guard, when I watch you guarding Yahuwah's ways and his commandments, I'm like, man, I love them people more than anything. I got blood family members don't even touch most of y'all. I'm just telling you right now. Blood is thicker than water. How many of you heard that? Hear that? Blood is thicker than water. But spirit is thicker than blood. Spirit is thicker than blood. Don't come telling me about I'm your blood family. That's obvious. We all come from Adam and YAHUAH. So we all blood related. You act like you come, there's about 1,000 different sets of twos of Adam and YAHUAH's son named Eve. There was one set. So guess what? We all blood kin, but we ain't all spiritually kin. She got it all twisted up. No, they ain't my cousin. They not my. Yes, they are. They got the same blood as you got. That's why racism is an absolute farce. Guess why it exists? Because they think blood's thicker than water. And I'm telling you, spirit is thicker than blood. Ain't no way in the world you're going to find any racism within real believers of Yahuwah. It ain't going to happen. You come to events that I do, it's like the real United Nations, like for real, for real. We don't allow no nonsense. You ain't going to fool me, get me thrown in the lake trying to be racist. I know you my relative. As soon as I see you. But are we family? I'm looking for family. What Christine said, who is my father, my mother, my brother, my sister? Quote that scripture. Those that do the will of my Father, Yahuwah, 15. I no longer call you servants, because servants do not know what their master is doing. I call you my friends, because everything that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you. Put your seatbelts on. Hey, y'all ready for this one? There ain't gonna be one. There's not gonna be one translation got this one right. They don't got verse 16 right. I'm telling you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and you accepted. They're not gonna put that part in there. They're not gonna put the accepted part. They're gonna say, well, the actual words, what does that whole word mean in that verse? We can't get no contradiction going on in the scriptures and call it the truth. They just ain't got it right. I done looked all over the place. I'm going, what's going on here? You did not choose me, but I chose you and you accepted. So I appointed you to go and produce fruit, the kind of fruit that shall last. Then my Father shall give you whatever you ask in my name. Come on. What? That's why this name issue is so incredibly crazy. Come on, Brother Edward. Appreciate you, man. That's why the name is off the charts. Because, see, I got some protocols here. He said he chose me. He's choosing everybody. You see? We're not the ones who choosing him first. He says, you did not choose me. I got to look at that translation a little closer. It might be first in there. I'm pretty sure that might be first right there. That's why a scrub is good. You did not choose me first, but I chose you and you accepted. So I appointed you to go out and produce fruit. Soon as you accept, you got to go produce fruit. But the kind of fruit that will last. That's what we're doing here today. This message is producing fruit that will last. There's literally souls coming into the kingdom right now. That's going to last. And because we're doing this work, like hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the share button. Come on, fam. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Why? We're gonna get that right fruit going. You get the right fruit going. And that's critical. Why is that critical? Because then you got to do something before, then you get to then. Then my Father shall give you whatever you ask for in my name. You got his name. That's the great part about this. Once you get down these protocols, these basics of Yahuwah, man, now you got his name. Now you got his name. You do the protocol. You produce the fruit. Then you ask him for anything. And it don't matter what it is. Go way out there. Some of y'all want to buy an island. Go get it. What you worrying about? Stretch out there and watch Yahuwah deliver what you want. Can't limit Yahuwah. This deep. So I command you to love one another. He comes back and says it again. That's part of the protocol. You can't be gossiping. You can't be sending no nasty messages to people. You can't be in here going praise Yahuwah and then all of a sudden somebody cut you off in traffic and you cussing them out. No, you're going to have to be chill, self-control. Does somebody smack you? You smack them back. They say, hey, you smack you on this cheek, turn the other cheek. No, I'm turning my other cheek to wind up, to knock you out. That's what I'm turning my other cheek to do. I'm going to turn the other cheek to wind up. That was a lie. 18. If the people in this world hate you, just remember they hated me first. If the people in this world hate you, just remember they hated Yahusha when he was on the earth first. And he is YAHUAH. Watch, I'm gonna prove it. If you belong to this world, the people of this world would love you. But you do not belong to this world. I have chosen you to leave the ways of this world behind you. And this is why people will hate you. He's telling us why people gonna hate us. We're gonna come out from the ways of this world. Remember, I told you that servants are not greater than their master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they do what I say, they will also do what you say. Look at that power he gave us. Look at that power that Yahuwah Mashiach just gave us here. He just said, see, once you get in line with this is what the 144 gonna do. 144 of us, we're gonna be rocking and living like this. I live like this already. Y'all come on. Come on with me. I already live like my wife and I, my son, we live like this. If they do what I say, they will also do what you say. That's why you don't ever see me arguing with nobody. You don't see me debating. You don't see going on sites and people talking trash about me all the time. I don't respond. None of it. I'm like, that's what you believe. That's what you think. I know who I am in Yahuwah. I'm crystal clear. Sleep like a baby. 21. John, Yahuhanan 15:21. Because of my name, the real name, not the fake name. Because of my name, Yahuwah, people will do to you exactly what they did to me. And they do this because they do not know the one who sent me. If I had not come and spoken to them, they would not be guilty of sin. But now they have no excuse for their sin. That's like when you listen to our messages. You ain't got no more excuse. I'm making this so plain. There's no way. You can't write in and go, hey, I didn't understand about the Shabbat. None of that stuff. I didn't understand about the new moon. Nope. If I had not spoken this to you, you wouldn't be guilty. Yahusha, when he was on the earth, said, if I had not come and spoken to them, they would not be guilty of sin. But now they have no excuse for their sin. Everyone that hates me, watch this, also hates my Father. Why? Why would he say that? Because he is the Father. That's why he said that. Once you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So if you hate me, you hate the Father. Everyone that hates me also hates my Father. We getting there. We're on verse 23 and we're going to 27. That'll be the end of this chapter. Verse 24. I have done things that no one else in this world has ever done. Look at Yahusha when he was here, as he's closing out. Man, oh man. He breaking this down on the way out. I have done things that no one else in this world has ever done. Had they not seen what I done, then they would not be guilty. But they have seen the things that I have done, and they still hate both me and my Father. Come on, Benjamin. I see your brother rocking with me. He said they done seen it. And hey, I did it, because who am I? I am the Father. Nobody was screaming out, we hate Yahuwah. Not one time. There's no record of any of these people, the Parashim, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, none of them. There's no record of them ever saying, we hate Yahuwah. Let's plot to kill Yahuwah. He says, if you hate me, you hate both me and my Father, because I am Yahuwah. 25. This fulfills the word written in the law that they have when it says, he goes, they got this written in their law, in the books of Masha, in the prophets. They hated me without a cause. That fulfills that. He said now that scripture has been fulfilled. Look at Larry. Larry said, all right, let's go. You'll see a little button down there, Larry. Bottom right, Devin said. This fulfills the word written in the law when it says they hated me without cause. 26. 2 more verses. New Moon Day, 2 more verses. But when the Comforter comes, YAHUAH, whom I will send to you from the Father, listen, which is the Spirit of truth that comes out of the Father. Thank you, Sister Queen. He shall testify about me. I'm going to say this verse again. But when the Comforter comes, the Comforter, that's YAHUAH. That's the Spirit. Ruah means Spirit. When the Comforter comes, whom I will send from the Father. How's he know he's going to send? He going back up on high as the Father. Which is the Spirit of truth. And he didn't stop there. He goes, which comes out of the Father. He said, this is me coming out back to you. He shall testify about me. That's why when you call on him and you immerse into his name, he literally comes and lives in you. For real, for real. There's no way I can see and do the things I'm doing without Yahuwah living in me. Thank you, Brother Mark. Thank you, Brother Mark. There's no way I can do what I do. Understand what I understand. It has to be Yahuwah living in me. Has to be. And you will also bear witness and testify about me, because you have been with me from the beginning. That's what he's telling his emissaries. And now we're giving the message based on their word. YAHUAH wrote this, John. Because they believed and they stood. Yeah, they had to work their way through their stuff. Like some of y'all had to work your way through your stuff. But sometime or another, they came to where, there ain't no more excuse. We done seen too much. You done seen too much. YAHUAH is in the building. on New Moon Day. We are wrapping up the TSNT portion of the campaign. Are you in? Are you in? The greatest thing, y'all just heard the complete true scriptures. That link at the top, that's the type of translation you're going to get throughout the entire scriptures. Every one of the books in the New Testament, that's the Berit Hadash, is done except one, and I'm closing that one out. Thank you, Brother Mark. I'm closing out the Book of Yahuhanan. And when I'm done with Yahuhanan, I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's going to take us a week, probably 10 days. Thank you, Brother Duran. In the building, Brother Duran with a super. Yahuwah is among us. He's smiling that we learn. Once I'm done with completing with all the translation, I then personally have to go back line by line. I got to read every line to make sure it's tight. That should take me a week, maybe 10 days. Then I got to get the editors, people that are professionals, the typeset and all that. They're going to go and make sure it's nice and tight. Then we're going to take it and we're going to send it to the printers. And the true scriptures, the Berit Hadash portion, that's going to tear this world up. And that's a fact. It's going out to the world. And you got a chance to play a very important part. When it closes out, that portion closed out. Then we start fresh and we go to the Tanakh. But is your name going to be on the scroll for the most important project since Yahusha came, died, and resurrected, went back up on high? Who can tell me that the true word of Yahuwah is not the most important project since then? Can anybody tell me anything more important? That if there's no translation in the world that's clean, no contradictions. I done showed y'all one after the next. We probably done about 25 to 50 on here, these lives. Now there's 400,000 mistakes in all those different texts that made up and got to the King James. And now all these other versions has come off the King James, the NIV, the Amplified, American Standard. You know, there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of them. And they sell like 20 million copies a year. Like the United Bible Society and all those places, they sell 20 million copies a year. It's a big old business they got. Now, I don't care if they were doing a gazillion copies, making money, building the kingdom. You should love that. You should applaud that. But they're not. What they're doing is they're perpetuating. I'm talking about ripping. You're going to the lake of fire translations over and over. That's what they're doing. You can't go nowhere and pick up one to where you can go, all right. I'm telling you, it took me less than 1 minute to go turn to this chapter, this verse, and look at that contradiction. I do it all the time, don't I? Stuff that y'all been reading over and over and over and over. All of a sudden, your brother comes along, and I go, Yahuwah gave me this gift to do this. He let me go study the origins of words for 6 to 10 hours a day for 3+ years. I prove it all the time. Somebody can't say, no, you didn't. Y'all see me do it all the time. Y'all got to be tripping when y'all see me bring this out over and over and over and over. And y'all thinking it's me. It ain't me. It's Yahuwah working through me. I'm a vessel. I'm a carrier pigeon. I'm just delivering important information. I listen. I hear what Yahusha was saying when he was on earth. He says, I only do what I hear my Father telling me. I only translate what I hear Yahuwah telling me. Not some theology school, not some seminary, not some pastor, not some professor. My professor is Yahuwah. That's who trained you. Yahuwah trained me. You beat him? You up over Yahuwah in training? Yahuwah trains me. He trained me. He keeps training me. And y'all seeing it. Some of y'all been on the journey with me for years. We wrote the Promote the Truth website 2007. What? We on 17 years. We within a week of 17 years. I found Yahuwah somewhere, but I don't know the exact date, but it was between like the 10th to the 13th of May, 2007. So we had 17 years on this. Some of y'all been with me for years and didn't even know it was me and the team. Some of y'all we wrote the site in 2007. Nobody even knew who had Promote the Truth up. Who was the founders and the backers to 2020. 13 years ran. We ain't say a word. We ain't say a word. Why? That wasn't how we was led. It's like copping them. They out there fishing and stuff. Carpenters, they doing all their work. All of a sudden, Yahuwah walk up on you and tap you and say, come follow me and do it this way. Come on, Marquise. But hey, we got people sending in messages that gave their life to Yahuwah 17 years ago. And he been teaching and you can watch the website as it gets tighter in its words. You know, I came out and I'm telling y'all, this is thick. This deception is thick. Because I was learning, I had to go behind all the veils of, I'm talking about the Talmud in Hebrew is thick. It's got a lock on it. So you know what the Talmud is? It's the writings of the Pharisees who had Yahusha killed. And they hated him then. They hate him now. And those are the people with the locks all around the Abari, the Hebrew language. Everybody's running after that. And they smoke screen it to the max. And you don't peel through it unless Yahuwah comes in and says, let me take you through this maze. Follow me. Yeah, we gotta go tighten up the website some more. But I'm the one got to go over there and make sure I look at it. That's what the team waiting on. They done asked me 4 or 5 times. I said, I'll get there in a minute. That's good enough right now. What people really need to do? Listen, go back on our YouTube channel. Click on the lives. Go back about 6 months is when we started. Get your notepad out. Don't look at it. I'm just going to give you advice. You ain't got to do nothing. You're your own free person. Don't look at any other scripture translations. None. Unless you hear me on the videos, give you the call, say, go look this up. Don't pick it up. Don't pick up one. Don't pick up any to go read from to get any spiritual learning. You ain't there yet. I'm going to be bold and tell you. Everybody listen to me. You're not there yet. Yahuwah is telling me to tell you that. You ain't there yet in that discernment to be able to pick apart Satan's lies in there. You need to stay up under this training and covering. You need about 3 to 6 months hardcore. Then you know how to decipher this stuff and not get trapped. You go in there, it's like you walking into a landmine to blow you up. You'll walk right in there and get blown up. And you won't even know. It'll tear you up. Thank you, Brother Dave. All right, it's been a great new moon day gathering. Y'all got a double dose because we covered the new moon, the importance, and we finished part 2 of YAHUAH, John 15. What I need y'all to do now, because I'm going to go back, translate. I'm going to get me something to eat. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get something to eat. I'm going to go kiss my wife. I'm going to kiss my son. I'm going to give my eyes just a little bit of break. I'm going to go right back and translate. Would y'all do y'all's part at tsnt.org? Because New Moon Day is over today. We go right back to marketing, spending. We're going to spend thousands of dollars within this next 7 days, thousands and thousands of dollars on advertising. We want everybody around the world. We're coming up with strategies to get into all types. We want to be on Roku. We want to be Netflix advertising. We want to hit them everywhere. So that, man, there's millions of people. They get to finally pick up a true translation. Don't you want to be a part of that? Don't you want to say, man, I was knee deep, ankle deep. Some of y'all going to say I was waist deep. Some of y'all going to say, man, I was over my head deep in promoting the word of Yahuwah. And when it goes out there and you see people walking around, you're going to see people comment, you're going to see blogs, it's going to go everywhere. You're going to see people excited, you're going to see people tore up, you're going to see people attacking, you're going to see people cussing us out, you're going to see people praising. It's going to create havoc. Hallelujah. The true scriptures is coming to be the sword in this world. And it's going to divide. It's going to cut between joints and marrow. It's going to cut between people's soul and their spirit. It's going to cut everywhere. And you got a chance to be a big part of that. But you got to play all the way. Don't let up. If you feel it, I'm only talking to the 144 at this point. If you 144, don't let up. Come on, bring it for Yahuwah. Because I'm bringing it. I love y'all. Talk to you soon. I'm going back. Bye-bye.